to be awakened, you must be enlightened to the real truth with consciousness. Our world is a matrix, a holographic movie. Get enlightened by watching The Strange Reality with Dave Emmons.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show, The Strange Reality, with me, Dave Emmons. And I have a guest tonight I've had on before, and she's had some contacts, and she's been working in the UFO and ET field for some time. And she's a member of a Hollywood organization in which I joined too, but I guess I'm too far away in Illinois. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But I just wanted to mention something about, I know people out there were interested in writing books. I've written 4, and I'm on my 5th book. And the biggest problem I'm having, this past year or so, I run into so many scammers. There's a lot of publishing scammers out there, and I want you people to be aware of that. If you're interested in writing books, and of course I am, and I have friends who are writing books, and they write, UFO books or ET books, paranormal books, but you have to find a trusted, I guess, a publisher. My first publisher was very trusted, and he's done a couple of books for me, and I trusted everything they did. They're good people. Hangar One, publishing. If you're into the real, like, Bigfoot's cryptid stuff, maybe even ETs, they might go for that. But my last book was sci-fi. They don't do sci-fi, so I got left out on that. So I started looking for publishers. Man, I tell you what, 3 times last year, I was scammed, and they wasn't doing the work. I got my money back. And another piece of advice, when you pay these people, always pay them with a trusted credit card. You can dispute the charges afterwards and actually get your money back. And that's good about credit cards. But if you give them your bank account, hard telling what's going to happen there. I mean, they're going to take the money and run, and it's harder for the bank to take care of that. So just some advice for you people that are wanting to write. I've been wanting to tell people, these struggles in writing. It's just not writing a book and then getting it self-published. A lot of self-publishers, they like themselves, and I did the same thing on my last book and 2 books. But the thing of it is, with self-publishing, you know what you got to be concerned about is marketing. Then when you get into marketing, then you go to these publishing people with marketing. And then what happens is some of them cost a lot of money, and you're not going to make that money back real quick. And then some of them, I guess, they do the work, but it's real slow, and they're not really fast at all. If you pay them a lower, you get what you pay for. That's basically what I'm saying. And I just wanted to bring up something else with the world today, and with the ideologies that are changing in politics around the world. Actually, like in Europe, Canada, in Australia, New Zealand, here in the States, and also south of the border down in South America. We have chaos. We have immigration chaos. We have people that are just not obeying the laws, and there's a lot of crime. And we have to take a look at common sense. When you vote, and when you're looking at people, look at what they can do for us. Can they save us tax money? Can they actually bring the cost of things down? Can they protect our borders? Can they get rid of the crime? These are policies. What we have now is bitter infighting with both parties, and it's sickening. I don't even like watching the news anymore. It's just, one party says this, and they're threatening each other. It's like in Europe, UK, and Ireland. They don't tell you about that. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and I just want people to. I know I got involved in some exchanges on comments on Facebook, and I don't like talking ideology, politics, or anything. I just want to talk common sense and what we need for our kids and our future. And that's what I want to get through to you here on the Dave Emmons Strange Reality Show. My guest tonight, and it's Brit Elders. Let me get a bigger picture of her. There she is, Brit Elders. And she's an investigative author and documentary filmmaker who traveled the world exploring a variety of topics, including the mysterious world of UFOs. She has participated in several in-depth investigations, including the Billy Meier case. And we're going to be talking a lot about the Billy Meier case. And a strange thing happened to me trying to upload his craft that he took pictures of. And I was talking to Brit about that. I tried several different angles to upload them to my StreamYard. and it wouldn't let me. I went into different programs. I tried to, then it just wouldn't let me. I think I took them off the BBC page for people that might know that might have been copyrighted, but I've got some
Yeah.
pictures of the ladies that he talked about meeting, of the the ET ladies, and also I'm going to compare them with 1940s and 1930s picture of an ET woman, I think, in the Vril Society. We'll be getting into that, and Britt's going to help us along with that. She's done the Billy Meier case, and the waves of UFO sightings in Mexico, which began in 1991 and continues today. Britt is the CEO of ShirleyMacLaine.com. She knows Shirley MacLaine, and Shirley MacLaine's still acting, I guess, right? Britt, she
Yeah.
had another. She just did a movie here a while back. That's great. She's got some gold power, that's for sure. Uh, and then Britt continues her work today as a member of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. Brit Elders can be found on Facebook.com, Brit Elders author, or look for her books on Amazon. Her new documentary, that was a year and a half ago. Her new documentary's out. She'll probably tell us about that. That happened about a year or so ago. But that was some old notes in. But I want to catch up with her now. Brit Elders, welcome to the show.
Oh,
And
thank you.
catch us up on what's been going on with you.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, let's go back and serve your audience here, because talking about publishing like you were, publishing, when you write, you don't know what you're going to get into. Please don't do the silly thing a lot of people do, and that is pay cash, pay with your bank account to get a book published. Seriously, there are so many people out there that are taking advantage of want to be authors. I've been very fortunate. I've worked with really good publishers for a long period of time. I have a working relationship with them. I've edited books, I've written books, I've ghostwritten books. And you develop that over a period of time, but you really have to hunt to find a good, reputable group out there willing to work with you. Mainstream publishing is not what it used to be. People need to know that. They do not put a lot of money into PR anymore. Everything is bottom line with them. They're the penny counters. They want to know what's going where and everything like that. You almost always end up paying for your own publicity, for your own PR. It's quite amazing what's happened and changes that have happened probably within the last 10 years in the publishing industry. So everybody out there, please be wary, be smart, do exactly what Dave said. Use a credit card you can rely on. Absolutely.
Yeah. Use that credit card, because you can always dispute the charges. And I had to last time, 3 times last year. It slowed my last book up. I haven't been able to market it properly, because every time I go and get somebody that said they do a good job marketing, they don't. And then they take my money and they try to run, but I get the money back, but I've lost the time. That's
right.
one thing. And you need to, I guess we're coaching book writers or future book writers right now, and that because we're both book writers, but authors. But I guess what I'm saying is that when they do a book, there's more to this writing. The book is tough to write it and get it published. But then when you put it on Amazon, it goes underneath a big pile of other books, and it's got dust all over it, and the people don't really see it. You have to really, and then Kindle wants you to pay a boosting, fee to get your book boosted. And the same thing with all these other platforms, YouTube and everything. You got to know the algorithms. You got to know how to manipulate those, and you probably know a little bit about that, Britt, being in the business. But Britt, could you tell us what's going on now that's really got you thinking about this UFO disclosure thing?
Well, I have to tell you about the project I'm involved in now. It sort of fell into my lap. I know you're fully aware of the Phoenix Lights.
Yes.
Yes. Well, Dr. Lynn and I have been friends for a number of years. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
Yeah, I wanted to tell the audience too, I'm not a wino. My nose is red because of allergies.
Oh, I know. They're bad
and
out
the sun gets me too. So
but But anyway, Lynn called me and she had just done a study about not the Phoenix Lights per se, but how the witnesses reacted and the changes they experienced in their personal lives after the experience.
Mm-hmm.
This is going back from 1970 or 1997 to now. So we're doing a book about that called The Phoenix Lights Effect. And we are taking firsthand accounts, the stories of these people and what they experienced, and then what they experienced after the sighting. So I've been involved with that. That's why the glasses, my eyes are just shot. I've been on the computer constantly.
Yeah, I know.
But I've been involved with that. There's so much going on out there. There's the Bugosphere in Mexico that
Mm-hmm.
Jaime's working with. There's disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Yeah.
or isn't it? Um,
And there's missing people, 12
oh,
scientists and
man.
military people.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's a topic that you're really interested in too.
Yeah. I'm interested in that because how far are they going to go to get rid of people? Like low level influencers like me. You're probably at a higher level influence than I am. I mean, you know more people in like in Hollywood and stuff. But for me, I'm a low level influencer. But I do know one thing. If you know secrets about the government or the military, if you've actually seen things with the military and if you start talking about them, you're in trouble. If you just see things and you're an experiencer like myself, I've seen things, but I never, and not that I'm afraid, but I have never seen the military and ETs together. Okay, that's not all my experiences.
Right.
Even my first book covers it. Now my fifth book is going to cover some of that, but I've never seen them work together, and that's just I'm not telling that because I don't want anybody to put a hit on me, Britt. But what do you think about those missing people, Britt? Have you talked about that?
I have thought about it a lot. Um, I mean, it's something that's fascinating to me because so many died mysteriously, and then so many are just missing. Where are they?
Hmm.
It sort of reminded me of Alternative 3 way back in the 70s, where they had that brain drain and the
Right.
scientists ended up in Australia. It's it's nothing serious that I've ever been concerned about, even when no one had a clue as to who I was or what I was
Hmm.
doing. It's it's just something that I haven't even thought about, but this is something we cannot ignore.
Yeah.
We really have to get to the bottom of it. Who's behind it? Is it our side? Is it another side, another political side? We don't know.
Well,
We really
have,
don't know.
have you heard the videos of this one young lady? She was in her 30s. This happened in 2022 when she disappeared. And she made a few videos and she said, I am not suicidal. I am
Yeah.
not going to run away. I'm very stable. But she says, I have people that are watching me, stalking me. And even my boyfriend knows about it, she said. And some of the key things she said, and you asked what side it is, she said, but these agency people are watching me and they're warning
Mhm.
me. So agency people, what was he referring to? That's the thing, Britt.
Well, the thing when you talk about that, when you say agency, automatically your mind goes to CIA. I mean, it just can't
Alphabet.
help it.
Yeah, the
But
alphabet. Yeah.
yeah, our little alphabet soup groups. But
Yeah.
I don't think you can really just say it's us. I think you have to look in other directions too, because these people have knowledge that other parties around the world would want to get their hands on.
Right.
It's not like it's something that we don't already have access to. So I kind of wonder what group is actually behind this and why it's all happening. Why in such a short span of time, 3 years? We've got 12. We've had several that have said, I'm not suicidal, including the woman you're talking about, Dave Wilcock, all of this.
Mhm.
So, what does that mean? What are they saying? And then they either commit suicide, have a mysterious accident, or just flat out disappear. I know a lot of people have been talking about the fact it might be ETs coming in and getting them. Those could be the ones that are disappeared.
Right.
We don't know
And
because there's
what about mind control? You know, they developed. They're way ahead of us in the technology. They don't tell us, but they can actually control people's minds with energy blast in their house,
yeah,
and that's the scary part. And just like ETs, they can come into our minds and our subconscious and just lay things in there and take things out.
yeah,
ETs have done that to me. I've had these lucid dreams, and that's part of what they do to you. Uh,
uh-huh.
but I guess what I'm saying is you know a high profile person. You
Yeah,
know,
I know many.
you know Shirley MacLaine. I
Yeah,
think she's been questioned, hasn't she, Britt?
never.
No, never
No
been
one
questioned.
has ever approached her. It was Shirley, it's kind of different because she was an actress. And then when she came out with Out on a Limb talking about UFOs and extraterrestrials, they just labeled her kooky. This
Hmm.
was back in 1981.
Yeah,
Anybody that talked about the subject in 81 was just kooky. They were
right.
goofy, or they wanted attention, one of the two. With Shirley, she's been outspoken about it. She's been outspoken about her feelings. She feels that one of the biggest things we're missing is education in this area, and not fear based education, but education as to, just like Earth, there are good and there are bad out there. You have to be discerning, you have to learn, but you've got to know what's out there before you can make that decision.
Hmm.
No one has ever approached her. No one has ever approached me
Um,
from the government and said anything. I will say this: when we were working on the Meier case, one of the ways that we got so much accomplished as far as the analysis of the evidence, the physical evidence, we made a deal with them. We said, we want to use your laboratory. We will let you have access to all of the information you get. You can play with it, do what you need to with it, but give it to us too. And we will be present as you do the analysis. Everyone agreed. So that's how we got into these pretty remarkable labs. Hey, we're
yeah.
talking scripts and JPL and things like that.
Well, Billy Meyer's case uh, is very, I guess, controversial. There's some people who said
Sure.
it's a fake and it's a fraud, and this all happened. A lot of this happened back in the '70s, I guess, early
It
'70s
all
on.
happened in the
Yeah,
70s. Yes,
yeah.
all the physical evidence came in the 70s.
Do you,
Nobody
now?
had computers.
Britt? Do you think Billy Meyer is on the level? Is he true?
Yeah, I do. That's my personal opinion. As an
Mm,
investigator, I have to say what we did was we took the evidence, we analyzed it every way we could, not meaning us personally. We took it to laboratories that knew what they were doing. Those laboratories made the determination they couldn't duplicate the evidence. We didn't make that determination, they did. So
yeah.
when you have U of A and the photo lab down there, you've got JPL and Bob Post, who was head of the photo lab at JPL, saying, we can't duplicate this. What do you do with it? So what we did was we put the information out there and told everybody, make up your own mind. I never want to be in a position as an investigator or a person to say, believe what I believe.
Hmm.
I don't want you to do that. I want you to dig in. I want you to learn. I want you to read. I want you to experience for yourself. Make your own decisions. Like
Yeah,
you said, use common sense.
yeah.
Take it from
Britt,
there.
now he
But
doesn't he have a
um,
manager now? He has a manager that manages his
Billy?
bills.
No,
He
no,
doesn't have a manager. Hmm. Is he's still
no. I
alive?
talk to him
I
all the
haven't
time.
kept really.
He is still
Okay.
alive.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
great. I didn't know that.
yeah.
I'm behind
We
times
we
on that.
text and email.
Yeah,
He's gosh, how old is he? 87, 88.
yeah. Wow.
He's doing pretty well. He's still having contact, but he is not being given evidence like he was in the 70s. The great thing about the evidence from 1976 to 1979, 1980 was that no one had computers. We didn't have cell phones. He had a broken 35 millimeter camera that was just sort of set on infinity. They posed the craft for him. We
Right.
had, the little tape recorders, and that's how he recorded the sounds of the craft. He was given metal, he was given things and allowed to have evidence that no one else had at the time. We were given that evidence by Meier, and he said, take it back to the US, have it analyzed. That's all I want. Let me know what the scientists say. So that's what we did. We put it out there for everyone.
Yeah. You don't hear any UFO researchers or investigators or even talking heads, like the couple that who's just passed away, to
Right?
the renowned TV talking heads, uh, but you never hear them talking about the Billy Meier case anymore. It's kind of like buried under the rug. Is it taboo? Is it have they let too many people have been calling it fraud, Brit?
No, I don't think so. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite, just based on the email I receive from people that they're just blown away because when we brought out the books again last year and we put volume 1 and volume 2 together, these are big photo journals and they have contact notes in them. They have the background of the science and the investigation that was done. Thousands of people emailed. They had not come in contact with it. They were surprised by it. The difference with the Meier case is there's nothing scary about it.
Hmm.
Nothing. It's just, there it is. We put it there. I mean, last year got a lot of publicity. I did so many podcasts and I love doing it. I love the interaction with everyone. But the Meier case is old. It's a case that provided more evidence than any other UFO case ever. Period.
Hmm.
One case. And it's a face-to-face contact case. People don't want to deal with contactee cases. They prefer an abduction case. They prefer, somebody seeing something, a sighting. But the
But
groups,
there's a problem with that, Brit. If you
what?
have too many, and Linda Moulton Hall told me this one time, talking to me on the phone. She interviewed me actually on the phone to try to verify whether I was real or not.
Uh-huh.
She verified I was real at the end of about an hour conversation. She said, "You're for real," but she said you're going to be in a small group because you've had more than one or two experiences. You've had
Exactly.
experiences all your life, and people have a hard time. And it's just like some of the comments about my first book in Amazon. Someone made comments that I can't believe this. This guy had this many experiences. Well, people, I'm too old to lie. I'm not going to lie about it. I
I
do
love
have
it.
them, and I still have them. And I had some real big ones last September, just last
Uh-huh.
September, a couple of them in Wyoming, Montana, and with a sphere that hit back with an energy.
Wow.
So you were just talking about the Booga spear. That's
Yeah.
what this was. It was just
Wow.
like the Booga spear, and it was about that size. I got pictures of it, but no, I guess
You're
this
right. I mean, the fact that you are a contactee, Billy Meier's a contactee, it
Mhm.
takes it into a realm most people don't want to explore. It's
Right.
easy to do a one-off, a quick
Mhm.
abduction, but a contactee is a different character altogether.
Yes, I
And there's
know.
a handful of them, and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had experiences since I was 13 years of age, and they're
Yeah.
still going, and I'm way
That's
beyond
cool.
retirement. Uh, okay, now Billy Meyer, Britt, he had some ET people, actually human beings.
Yes.
They were humanoid, and he
Yes.
met several of them. And I
Yes.
saw a video one time. You might be able to tell me about this. There was a film of a lady that was in this house with a couple other people, and she had her back turned to the camera because she didn't want to show her face. And then they said that was an ET lady.
Yeah.
So is that true,
Okay.
Britt?
That one, I have never been able to verify it, and Billy wouldn't verify it to us. He did not say that that was real at all. He shook his head no. But what happens when you have something like that, like the photograph that you have of Ascot and the photograph of Nira,
Mhm.
people see that, they talk about it, they extrapolate on it, and suddenly, if you're not facing the camera, you must be an ET. So that's how rumors and things like that get started that aren't accurate. most people don't go to the source to find out what's true and what isn't.
Right.
They just take whatever they hear and run with it.
And since we're on that topic, I got 4 pictures. I want
Uh-huh.
to do a comparison between 1930s with the Real Society and Maria
Uh-huh.
Orsic. I got a pictures of her. I'm gonna put those up, and then we'll compare the two, and then we'll compare, what's going on. That's Maria Orsic. That's an
Right?
artist rendition, and she looks like she's blonde or partially blonde, but she looks like she's out of her time back in the 1930s, late 30s.
Yes.
I think that's when she got involved with the Nazis, Hitler's
Right?
scientific group, and they said the long hair was something like an antenna that picked up knowledge. Britt, can you shine a light on 1930s real and how it compares with what I'm going to show you, the pictures of Billy Meier's ETs?
Well, I think what you have to look at is the difference. If you took that sketch right now and put it out there and said someone is having contact with this person, no one would have a problem with it because of the hair, because of the
Yeah.
makeup, because of the look. It fits right in with today. But in 1930, that was not how women looked.
Yeah, and they didn't. Let me show you the picture of Billy Meier's ETs. And
Right?
this is, let's see, this is Ascot
Right?
right here. That's
Right?
Ascot. Is that what you saw too? Is that
That
the picture?
is, yes, that is Aska. In fact, we have her picture in the book, UFO Contact from the Pleiades. Um, the thing with this picture, we have never been able to authenticate it. The reason we haven't been able to authenticate it is we do not have a negative. So we cannot
Oh,
test
yeah.
it, we can't examine it. Billy said it was Ascot. Ascot is not a Pleiadian. She is from the Dahl universe, Dahl universe. She's
Really?
an interdimensional being, as is
Okay.
Nera. They originally met in India, but they
Okay.
continued the contact forward.
Yeah. Let me show you a picture of Nira and Ascot. Which one's Nira? I don't really know.
Yeah,
I
okay.
know
This
this is
is
Ascot.
no. This is actually the Dean Martin. What were they called? I don't even remember what they were called, but it was from the Dean Martin show. This is not a picture of Ascot, nor is it a picture of Nera. The
Really?
thing that we were capable of doing is taking a facial composite of Ascot and a facial composite of the blonde there with the long blonde hair, which a lot of people said was Ascot, and comparing them, and the dimensions of the face were not the same. That's the only analysis that we could possibly do on that. But a lot of
Yeah.
people saw her and said, "Oh my God, that looks just like Ascot." But it
Yeah.
is not
Uh,
a picture of Ascot
it-
or Nera. It's from the Dean Martin
yeah.
television program.
It does identify him as Ascot and Nira in the internet, and also the book that was put out about that. I guess. Uh, Let me go
No,
to
Billy
this.
even said that that is not. It's not the same individual.
Okay. Let me go to another picture of. This is also Maria Orsic. Now that's an
Right?
actual picture right there, and she kind of looks like Ascot, right? In a
Right,
way.
and it's common with the, I hate to use the term Nordic beings, but they have fair skin, almost like a
Hmm.
translucence to their complexion. They have sort of a radiance about them that just emanates from them. Light eyes, not brown eyes, but light colored, light green, light blue,
Hmm.
fair hair,
Yeah.
and they look very, very humanoid.
Yeah.
They
Now
look just
this
like us.
Now this ship here looks like some of the ships that I saw on the internet with Billy Meyer. He saw ships
Similar.
something similar to this, yes, and
Yes,
that's probably where
similar.
they got this picture. Yeah, but those
Mhm.
are the pictures I said they wouldn't let me upload. Even StreamYard is pretty smart. I guess they say
Right.
no, that's BBC. I try to take it off BBC, but I guess I'm not going to be able to violate any copyrights on any of this stuff because they won't let me. So as that's good to
Uh-huh.
know. But as you can tell, this looks like the real picture of this Maria Orsic,
Right.
and she was, like I said, you said it too. She was beyond her time and how she
Sure.
looked and how she had her hair, and because people didn't dress like that or look
Right.
like her, they were kind of little, their hair was different, the darker, but she was blonde. But being blonde doesn't always mean that they're
No.
ET, right, Britt?
That's
They,
right.
they
We've got several reports from contactees that have had face-to-face contacts with people with dark hair. So it's
I met,
just
yeah, I
certain
met an Asian
different
gal. There we
types.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Different,
So
according to the Palladians and according to many contactees besides Meier, different star groups seeded this planet. So we had groups that were blonde, blue-eyed, tall, Nordic, short, dark-skinned, medium-skinned, dark-eyed. We had a variety that
right,
were visiting this planet and seeding the planet. So that's why they say so often, our ancestors are your ancestors. They're
yeah.
looking out for us. They consider us their little brothers and sisters. That's important to remember. But there are different groups that have different looks. There's a group that we investigated called Yarga. It's IARGA. And the man that had the contact was Dutch. He was an engineer, brilliant, happened to run his yacht into a craft that was in
Really?
the North Sea. These guys did not look like us at all. They had kind of a goat face, where their whole face kind of came
Hmm.
forward. They had a coxcomb. Scared the hell out of him. But he did develop a communication with them, and a lot of transmissions would go back and forth between them and him about 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning for several years. And he had nothing to lose. I mean, he had all the money in the world and everything else. He just had the experience, and he was very open and willing to talk about it.
I know, Britt, the small grays and the tall grays.
Right?
I got a video of a tall gray, and it was with my buddy. He called it some kind of a tall gray. It has a name to it, and a zeta.
Zeta,
Yeah,
Zeta,
yeah.
yeah.
And it was on the top of my stairs February 9th this year,
Oh,
and
wow.
my trail cam picked it up. And when my wife goes away, I didn't go with her to the Philippines this year, so I stayed at home. Usually, when she leaves, I have visitors. That's
Mhm.
and I put my trail cameras out as a habit. And Linda Moulton
I
Owl
love
asked
it.
me, yeah, she said, Linda Moulton Owl said, Dave, why did you put your trail cameras out? That's kind of, I said, okay, the night before, Linda, my motion sensors in the house and on the doors were going off crazy
Mhm.
all night long. And I said that they never do that. They're really good. They work very well. And I got it connected to my bedroom. And I got to the point where I didn't step out of the bedroom after those alarms were going off, but I did get some film. I got about 3 or 4, I guess, extraterrestrials in my house. This was back in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, 2020
Oh,
and
cool.
2021. Yeah. And so I got those suckers on the trail cam. The
I love
motion
it.
sensor. But I picked one up here on February 9th at the top of the stairs. He
Uh-huh.
flashed in real quick and he saw the camera and he jumped back real quick and you can see the back of his legs as he was jumping. He went
Oh,
through the wall. He went through the
uh,
wall of the stairwell. I guess dimensional, whatever. So
dimensional, right.
yeah. So but yeah, I've seen 3 little grays. Uh and well, maybe 4. I can't keep track of them. I got them in my ledgers, but I had 2 of them that I saw in Gulfwater, Wyoming, and
Uh-huh.
and I after those bright lights in my rearview mirror, those 4 orbs I was telling you about earlier,
Right.
I felt strange. I felt like I should call my wife and say, "Well, if I don't make it to Seattle, this might be why."
Wow.
I felt like energy was hitting me, and I slowed down. All of a sudden, I knew that I was taking off again on the road. I looked back in my rearview mirror. There were 2 little grays, about 4 feet tall,
Uh-huh.
hopping across the road behind me. and my back lights and my brake lights lit them up about 50
Oh,
feet, and I was
wow.
able to see them. And I looked at those two grays, and I said, "Oh no, here we go again." That's what happened. They got me, and those orbs were following me, one big bright one. But it was strange, and yeah,
Are
and I've
you
seen it on.
cognizant? Are you cognizant of the communication that goes on between you and whomever, the tall gray or the little gray or the
Uh,
orbs?
well, they I feel a sense of some spirituality. Actually, I feel like a spiritual lifting, and it's kind of weird. I get information, but sometimes I get that usually played back. They erase your memory, and they'll play it back to you in a lucid dream. And I've
Yeah.
had lucid dreams where I was able to like walk in a ship and everything. And so,
Uh-huh.
yeah, they will mess with your mind, just like we have the technology what we were talking
Right.
about earlier to
Right.
mess with people's mind. I think this gal's name is Brittany, the one that disappeared in 22 or died. She actually said, she mentioned numbers. She called them numbers. These
Uh-huh.
were aliens, ETs, she said, that are in the future. And they are us coming back from the future and looking at us.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what she was saying on camera while she was making that testimony that she would
Yeah.
not kill herself. Very interesting videos that she put out. Very
Yeah.
smart young lady. She was 32,
Yes.
34. But yeah, so I don't know how we don't, none of us have the answers, do we, Britt?
No. No. That's why we get out there and we look and we explore and we travel the world investigating. We try to find out what's going on. But it's uh, it's an enigma. It's something we do not
Yes.
have an answer to, except we can find an answer in ourselves. And what you said about the spiritual side of this is huge.
Mm,
And people don't recognize that. They go right to the fear aspect, right to the, oh my God, it's something I don't know. But they don't recognize that even if you don't have a contact, if you just have a sighting, sometimes this calm, this inner peace comes over you, and you
mhm,
feel this connection
yeah.
to the universe, to creation, to everything that exists, to your fellow man. It changes your attitude.
Yeah, it does. It
It
makes you
really does.
more like I've had combat before, and I've been, but it makes you hyper alert
Yeah.
when you have abductions throughout your life, and you see these ETs in your house. You
Yeah.
kind of concern yourself, so what's going on, and you get hyper alert. My wife now, she wasn't a believer before she married me. About what, it's been 13, 14 years now, and
Uh-huh.
when she married me, she wasn't quite the believer. She was kind of like a religious person, and
Yeah.
they don't like ETs, religious people.
Right.
Yeah, so you, and that's why I quit going to church, because I don't think they like me anymore. But my wife says, and she heard the alarms go off that
Uh-huh.
morning when I had those, and her first words out of her mouth was, she said, "Your buddies are there, aren't they?" And I
I
said,
love it.
"Yes, they are. Yes, they are." And she knows it. She says there's ETs have touched her. They've had
Mhm.
marks on her, and
Ah,
she realizes something's going on. And I
yeah.
have these freezing attacks once a year. I just had one here a while back where
Oh,
I'm in bed
really?
and I'm totally frozen. Yes, I'm shaking. I'm shaking so bad. And my wife, this time, she wasn't here this time, but it was just a month or so ago. I had this freezing attack, and
Uh-huh.
I've had 8 of them in the past 8 years, every year,
Wow.
almost about the same time.
What do you
And
think that is?
I think I'm going astral projection.
Yeah.
I think they're taking me and my energy and my essence, and they're leaving my body there, but they're taking me, but I don't have a memory of it. It blows my mind. And I shake so bad, and I'm a big guy, and I know my wife would have woke up because she hears the cell phone kind of drop on the carpet. So she said,
Yeah.
"What was that?" But I know, she didn't hear nothing, and the whole bed was shaking, and they put her out. They usually
Yeah.
put your partner out if they're dealing with you. And also they keep track of our meat suit, our physical bodies.
Yeah.
They check our DNA, they check and see how we're doing. Maybe they're contemplating our last days with our physical body. And then
Right.
maybe they have something to do with our soul transfer, Britt. I don't know.
That could be. Or maybe, like the scientist said, it's us visiting us. It's
Yeah.
us from the future coming back
Hmm.
to now. And if time doesn't exist, I mean, time is our concept. It's something we needed to define day, night, hours, all of that. If time doesn't really exist in the concept of the universe and it's
Yeah.
our creation, isn't it possible that all things are happening simultaneously?
Yes, that's I've heard that, Brit. I had an ET experience in Sedona, and I know a lot of people's heard this in my first book. It was an Asian lady. She was in her 30s. She wouldn't tell me how old she was, but her name was Hiroko. And when she walked up to me, she was smiling like a little girl smiling at her daddy. And I turned to her and I said, "Are you here meeting me?" She goes, "No." And I said, "You're going to take a hike because it's sprinkling." It was kind of rainy and cool in Sedona, and it's not good in
Uh-huh.
Sedona when it's like that. And I asked her, I said, "What are you here for?" She said, "I'm supposed to meet you." I
Aw.
said, "What? You're supposed to meet me?" Okay, that's the name of my fourth book. We were supposed to meet, and it's a sci-fi. I made it into sci-fi, but
Oh, very good.
that's where I got the title from her. And then when we was in the car, we were talking. She wasn't afraid of me, and being a stranger, I wasn't a stranger to her. I didn't know her. She said she knew me, but there was one thing that gave her away. Well, the other thing was that she come to my house 5 months later with two young guys, and they might have
Uh-huh.
been my offspring, whatever. But
Uh-huh.
that's a deep story. I think I have three. I have a young girl who followed me around last year. I saw her 6 times, and I saw these two young guys that she brought to my house in Godfrey,
Uh-huh.
Illinois, when I lived there. And this is from Sedona to Godfrey. This is 5 months later.
Wow.
And so they showed up there, and she turned her back to me, so I couldn't see her face down the road. But she told me in the car in Sedona, and we got to talk. And I said, "How old are you, Hiroko?" She looked at me. She had dark, really dark, black, piercing eyes, and she
Uh-huh.
looked at me, and I turned my head. I said, "Wow, you got powerful eyes." And she says, "When are you humans going to understand? There is no time. There is no date. There
Yeah.
is no, years." And then she caught herself. She made a mistake. And then she turned around real quick. And I said, "Gotcha. That's going to be noted." So what you
Very
just
important.
said, Britt, no time,
Yeah.
there's no dates. Yeah. We're the only ones keeping track of time, I think.
That's
Humans.
right. Yeah, that's right. It's our creation. We need it because we have a tendency to think that we're on a physical plane of existence. We are on a planet that is third dimensional. Therefore, everything we're involved with needs to be on the analytical side and has to have that attachment to it. What we're not tapping into that we really have to learn to gather within ourselves and each other is our heart energy. It's that
Yes.
spiritual connection. It's all of that stuff that's so important that brings us together as humans, as a culture, a civilization of a planet where all things are living. And we
In which,
need to
yeah,
respect
in which,
that.
in which takes us back into some religious, I guess, ideas and books, the famous book, the Bible, where Jesus said, he said, "Why you seek God in a church or in somebody else or a preacher or, whatever." He said, "It's inside.
Yeah,
God's inside you." And then he said the magic words. He said, "Love, be kind, and forgive."
right.
You know, so he did. He was a teacher and he was a philosopher, but
Yeah.
I think he was way ahead of his time, and he had to be. I know people are going to like this. These people that go to church, but he was extraterrestrial. I actually think that way, Britt. I'm
I've
sorry.
heard a lot of people say that. A
Yeah.
lot of people that he was an excellent teacher and that he probably was an extraterrestrial. Who knows? I don't care. He had wonderful things to say. He tried
Yes.
to unify people.
Hmm.
That's what we need now. We need a teacher out
Oh,
there
yes.
saying,
Yes.
"Bring us together." Yeah,
Yeah, a
it's
lot of people pray and go to church, but then they come back out in the parking lot and start fighting. That
exactly.
doesn't make sense, Britt.
No, give me a tree. I'm good with the
Yeah.
tree. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, what's going on with Shirley MacLaine today, Britt? Is she still active in the
Oh,
UFOs?
yeah, she is. Well, she reads everything. I mean, I get her the books and she reads and we talk about it. She's she is part of the Hollywood Film Alliance, which is
Mhm.
great. I am too. They're just They've got a new film coming out. They were part of the Disclosure Project, all of that. They got a lot of good things going on. She does kind of keep up with that. But in her real life, which she still considers herself first and foremost an actress,
Yeah.
she starts a new movie next month. She's
Again?
92 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And
And
sharp as a tack.
yeah.
I mean, we have the best discussions because, and sometimes I think we do this just to sort of move each other's position a bit,
Mhm.
take opposite sides of something and just
Yeah.
debate it and pull and see what else can come out of it. She is a thinker. She's a questioner. When we took her to meet Meier back in 1980, um, she had, those little mini cassette recorders.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a suitcase full of tapes. And she talked to Billy Meier from morning until the time she went to bed. She is a nonstop questioner. She should have been a journalist. I mean, she would really truly get into it because she doesn't know how to just take an answer. She's
Right.
got to divide it up and question it more.
So has she had any experiences lately, Britt?
No, she hasn't. She's she's seen things. We saw things in Mexico when we were there together. We've seen things at her ranch, but she has not had face-to-face contact, and she says that's okay. She says that at some point I'm going to see everybody, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It's
right.
okay.
That's true. Now, what about you, Britt? We've kind of glossed over that. Have you had any direct experiences with extraterrestrials or an abduction?
No, I haven't. I've got missing time, but I
Mhm.
don't. If it was related to what I saw, which was a massive UFO with my parents, um, I don't look at it as an abduction.
Yeah.
It was a choice I made,
Yeah.
so it's
Well,
okay.
there's a lot of people, 50% of us, they don't remember a thing. They've been abducted and tested and, analyzed by the extraterrestrials, and their memories are erased. And I know my memories have been erased, especially during those freezing sessions, those astral projection sessions once a
Oh, yeah.
year. I had another scientist tell me, said, well, that could be that they're giving your body tweaks and they're making you
Could be.
healthy. They're it could be.
Yeah.
That's what's keeping me going, I guess. I don't know. I hope they don't stop. If that's the case, I want to keep kicking, and pumping air. So, yeah. But no, it's
That's
it's
funny.
really it's really uh, when you get involved in this so much, it kind of takes you over, and you have to kind of back away from it sometimes, and you have to say, okay, I want to
Yes.
take a look at this, and I'm waiting for my next experience all the time. I'm waiting. I had an unusual experience at the grocery store this past Monday, and this index finger. I went through the aisle and I was looking for some pickles of all. And there's a
Uh-huh.
young man. He was down on his knees and packing the lower shelf. And this is a big store, grocery store. And he got to talking to me. And he's real nice, real friendly guy. And we talked about daily things or routine things. But
Yeah.
he talked about his dad and everything. But when I left him and I went to the counter to check out. My finger was all bloody. All my hand was bloody.
Oh,
And at the end of my index finger is a long, you can't see it. I got pictures of it, but it's a long, real narrow, real skinny line that was cut, and it went against the fingerprints. So I know it wasn't dry skin that cracked with the fingerprint grooves. It
right.
was a long, skinny, and it was bleeding, and the blood was real sticky. And I held my hand up and I looked and I said, and the cashier said, "You need a Band-Aid?" I said, "No, I'll get out to the car and I'll take care of it." But strange things you don't know. I'm not saying people that was
Mhm.
an ET attack from a shelf stalker. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying strange things happen, and you have to kind of think about it. Say,
Strange synchronicities, yeah.
yes, yes. And Britt, through your investigations, and your husband investigated with you also. He was
Yes.
probably involved. Yeah.
Oh,
I,
forever. We worked together, played together. It was 24/7 with us.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about Hollywood thing. What's the latest out of this Hollywood group that you're working with, Britt? What have they been saying?
Well, what they're trying to do, it's not just about disclosure from the standpoint of like Steve Bassett's view of disclosure, let the government come forward.
Mhm.
It's about putting experiencers and producers and writers together to create films that are based in fact, not based in somebody's creativity around fear, but based in fact, more positive. Um, and they're not always positive. I mean, Spielberg's Disclosure is coming out, and that's going to be interesting to see how
Yeah.
that's
Maybe
responded
they,
to by people. Yeah,
yeah, maybe they might be interested in my first book, They, What Do They Want? And that has a lot of experiences up to 2022, I think. And
yeah,
now this book is going to cover my experiences from 22 on, the freezing sessions and all this other stuff, and people that
uh-huh,
I've seen disappear right in front of me.
yeah,
It's kind of weird. And these were humanoid ETs that were here. They're dimensional, probably, no doubt, because they
yeah,
just disappear. They show up and they walk around a corner. You follow them real quick, they're gone.
yeah,
So that's my first chapter, disappearing people. But I hope this is short stories. It's going to be short stories and people can read, and I think I
yeah,
want it that way this time. I tried a sci-fi and I did a long version of my first book, but this is going to be short stories and I can tell them in short bursts. But uh, maybe you're to send those people my books.
yeah.
They probably wouldn't believe it. Even those people are probably going to look at it and say, "Oh my God, Spielberg's going to
No,
say,
no,
hey,
they're very, very open-minded. But what you should do is reach out to them and have them review your book because when they have a newsletter. When it goes out, a lot of people read it. The Hollywood
mhm,
Disclosure Alliance is a group of not just people that have had experiences or investigators, but it does really reach across the aisle into Hollywood, into documentary filmmakers, into um, people writing scripts for feature films. And so if they have the material and they write about it in their newsletter or in one of their little sessions, I agree with you. You're kind of out of place because it is in Hollywood and you're not.
yeah, right,
And I'm not either. I, I don't like Hollywood really,
yeah."
but
Sp-
it's get the information to them. Let them help disseminate it.
Are there any
That's
contacts you know of?
well, they were part of the Disclosure Project, the one that
Mhm.
was just released, and then they've got another one coming out here in a couple of weeks,
What about the
another
Spielberg
documentary.
movie? Do you know
I
anything
don't
about
know
the
if they were
Spielberg movie,
involved with
Britt?
the Spielberg movie or not, but I know that he is very interested in all things disclosure. I think what actually triggered that was probably the hearings on Capitol Hill,
Right.
because that's opened a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
I
I think
mean,
doesn't Spielberg in this new movie, I hear that he gets more into the mental aspect of the abduction and the takeover of the mind and body from
I don't
ex
know. I haven't read the script or heard anything
yeah,
really about the movie yet. So,
yeah, that'd be interesting. I know I'm gonna want to see it. I want to
oh,
go see it, but I
definitely.
heard a lot. Yeah. Uh, But Noah, is there anything on your radar that's coming up soon that you're going to be working with? You got another documentary going, Britt?
I have a book. Well, actually, I'm working on 3 books at the same time. I'm
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
But yeah,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
doing the book with Dr. Lynn on the Phoenix Lights. Shirley and I are working on a book about our experiences together, the different things we've done.
Oh,
And
great.
my husband, before he passed, wrote a second book called Push of My Luck about his time in Ecuador and working with the Shuar Indians down there. And so I'm editing it and getting it ready to go out. So yeah, I that's why
You're
my eyes are behind glasses today.
yeah, you're busy.
Yes,
Busy
yes.
like a Busee. Busy. But no, you're very much into it still, and I know you've been into it for a while. I mean, and then you and Shirley MacLaine are still hitting it off. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good, and you're going to write a book together. I'm sure that book's going to sell. You two in there.
Well,
You
we've
know.
had some incredible experiences, and what happened
Mhm.
last year, I was with her for her birthday, and I had gone to Santa Fe where she lives, took her out to dinner, and we were talking. She says, I want you to write a book about me and about the things we have done. And I said, okay. And she says, because you know everything. I mean, we've been best friends since 1980. We've hung out, we've traveled the world, we've gone places crazy people shouldn't go.
Right.
And we did anyway, like camp under a volcano as it's erupting and hail bops up there,
Oh,
watching
wow.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've done some wild things. And she says, no, she says that needs to get out there because people don't know that side of me. So I've been working on that, collecting the stories, running them by her. She said, yeah, that's what I remember. And, we go through there. But yeah, it's that'll be fun. The book with Lynn is fun because we're bringing in so many witnesses. And if any of your audience was part of or saw the Phoenix Lights, please reach out to us. You can reach out to me at
Okay.
britelders.com and just let us know your experience. We want to put it into the witnesses' words. We don't want an investigator making a judgment on it. We want the witnesses to tell their story. And what's interesting about that is even though everybody saw the same thing, they all saw different things.
Yeah,
So it's
that's true.
fascinating. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all
I,
perspective. It's amazing.
yeah. My friend and I saw one when I was 13. And
Uh-huh.
actually, when I was 14, he was 13. And we saw one together. It was real close to the ground, only about 50, 60 feet up. And it was a kind
Mm.
of a chubby saucer shape, had 3 levels on it. It had
Right?
portals, windows. And I was watching the windows, the shadows.
Yeah.
And my buddy said that he heard a sound, a whistling sound. I didn't hear the sound. I was more focused visually, on this
Uh-huh.
object. And I didn't want to see him. You know how you're a kid, you go to these horror movies and you expect to go there and get scared, but you don't want to be
Right.
scared. You're afraid. But just the same way I was, like a little kid, I was looking up at the shadows. I didn't want to see him, but I was afraid, But he said he heard the noise.
Right.
But I saw the ship leaving. He did not see the ship leaving. Apparently, I must have
Oh,
come
wow.
to. They abducted us because I had a
Uh-huh.
regress dream that I was in the ship and it was really dark and it was hot in there. I remember I was sitting on a table, a metal table of some kind,
Oh,
and I knew my buddy was in there somewhere. And this was several years after that happened. I knew he was in there somewhere because I could feel his presence. I tried to
yeah.
put a shirt on, but it was too small for me. I was a chubby kid, so I wore a bigger shirt than he did, I tried to put it on, I couldn't. And then apparently we both ended up in this empty lot right above my house, my yard. And
Mm.
I guess we both ended up with the right shirts. So,
It's
so yeah,
what's interesting about that? The fact that you came out of it and he hadn't. I'm running into that with some of the witnesses on the Phoenix Light stuff. They were mesmerized by what they saw. And then they didn't remember walking home or opening the door, or they didn't have a memory. And I think, wow, that's something nobody's looked at.
yeah. My
Even though
cousin and I,
after the
yeah,
experience, they had
yeah,
amazing things happen, no one's looked at the fact that there's that little space where you don't have any memory.
right. My cousin and I was sitting on my front porch, and that's when I saw this Hiroko with those 2 young guys. They were
Uh-huh.
teenagers. They were kind of tall, and they might have come and visited me because they come up to the porch, and she kept away from us. And my cousin was sitting next to me. It was on a March 17th, 2011, and it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was a real nice day, but we were there smoking cigars. We shouldn't have been, but I guess I paid for that later on. But we were there kind of enjoying the day, and they walked up, and he said, "Are they Chinese?" I said, "No, they're Japanese. I think I know the lady." She turned her head and faced the other way. The 2 young guys come up, but after they left, they only asked one question: "Where was the new Walmart?" After that, we were both dumbed down. We were all I could do is see. I couldn't do anything. All I could see was I could observe them, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then when they left, I woke up first. They just got to my road before they got to the other road, and my cousin didn't wake up until they got to the other road. And I was sitting there watching him because he's looking down at the porch, and his eyes were all
Uh-huh.
glassy and glazed over. He got up cussing. He was scared to death. He He said, "What the hell had just happened?" He said, "Dave, those ETs are going to kill you one of these days." I said, "They haven't yet," you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but no, it's you just you brought that story up from me because I know that some people come awake quicker than others. And my friend and my cousin both at the same time, they I come awake before they did.
Yeah.
So it's probably meant to be. But you know, my buddy, he's never had any experiences since he was 13. The one that
Wow.
saw the UFO, yeah. So
Wow.
why they select certain people, Britt? Do
Yeah.
you know? Do you have any
Don't
clue?
know. Maybe it's that some of us are the star seeds from other places and they recognize our energy.
Yeah,
I think that that's a real possibility. I think they also go on the fact that we are open or we're not. And those
yeah.
that are open are much more receptive.
Like the people that's got the green aura or the dark
Yeah.
aura. Yeah,
Yeah.
or so people can read auras too, and they read auras. I've heard a
Mhm.
story about an ET lady who read this air. He was in the Air Force and was back in the 70s, and she come in and said she was beautiful, and she walked over to his table, and he said he was tall and lanky. What he was ugly, he thought, and he said she walked over to him and she said, "Anybody sitting here?" And he looked at her and said, "Why are you sitting with me when you got all these other handsome guys in here?" She said, "Well, you have a green aura. The rest of them have
Uh-huh.
dark auras." And she sat there. Well, she met him in a room several hours later, and I'm not going to go any further what happened there. It was kind of like, hybriding. I can call it that. That was
Uh-huh.
an interesting story that he told me, and yeah, but that stuff happens. And Britt, tell us about what you're going to be doing. You're going to be writing a book with
Right?
Shirley
3 of
MacLaine,
them.
and you're going to be working with Hollywood group there. I joined that group, but I've never got the newsletter. Maybe I should rejoin and find get the newsletter on that. So
Right.
yeah,
And I'll drop you an email with who you need to talk to there.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Also, I belong to IMEX, and I'm
Uh-huh.
supposed to be playing an important part in that. That's out of Mexico City. Dr.
Right?
Federico Vidal, you know him?
Don't know him, but know of
Yeah.
him. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm with that organization. They want me to interview experiencers and
Oh,
contactees
good. Very,
because
very
it,
good.
it takes one to know one
True.
in a way. but Britt, it's nice having you on the show. What do you want to tell people out there, Britt, about what's going on and what your feelings are?
Be centered, have an open heart, an open mind, but think. Use
Yeah.
common sense.
Hmm.
Um, there's always that little voice inside you, that connection to creation that tells you this is okay or this is not okay.
Yeah.
If you get that this is not okay, walk away.
Right.
If you're feeling comfortable with it, experience it. Just
Yeah.
enjoy and always look up. There's so much going on out there. You got to
Yeah.
see it.
I know. Whenever I go out, my brother has actually been taking pictures of UFOs, and I
Ah,
put a couple of his pictures in just a few days ago, and it got bunch of hits on Instagram and Facebook, and
very good.
he keeps seeing these objects, and I have another brother who sees a lot of objects too, and he lives about maybe 4 miles, 5 miles away from the other brother, and he takes pictures, but he won't give me his pictures because he said he doesn't want to show up missing. I said, you're not going to be, I said, your pictures aren't going to get you in trouble. I
No,
said,
no,
those are your pictures and you're taking them. It's not like you're taking something from the military,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
don't want to do that. Britt, I guess, how can we get a hold of you? Facebook.com.
Well, I'll tell you, go to my website, britelders.com. That's Brit with one T, elders.com. You can reach me by email there. I've got Facebook page, all of that. But the easiest way to reach me directly is through my website.
Okay, good. Alrighty, I guess we'll wrap the show up. It's a little over an hour. I like to keep it like that. We're about an hour and 5 minutes. That's not counting the clock, but I don't want a long show. I've been doing what, hour and a half shows, hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah,
That's a little bit too long.
it is. I
And
think people enjoy an hour and then they can absorb it and think
yeah,
about it.
And
Yeah.
then I cut some shorts on this too, about 1.5 minute shorts, and I put them on Instagram and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be something I'm going to do. Thank you, Brit Elders, for
Thank
being on the
you,
show.
Dave.
It's
It's
been a
been a
while.
pleasure.
Yeah, me too. And I always have fun talking to you. And it's been over a year, but yeah, it's been nice. We'll have you back when you get your books done, and
You
maybe you
got it.
can bring Shirley MacLaine on. I mean, I've been a fan of hers for almost all my life.
She's
Uh,
terrific.
yeah. So, Brit Elders, thank you. You've been listening to Dave Emmons and the Strange Reality Show. And when I click off on StreamYard, we're both gone. So send me that information,
I
Brit,
will.
and I'll appreciate it. And we'll go from there. So thanks,
Okay.
everybody, and have a good
Take
day.
care,
Good night.
guys.
Bye bye.